experience because he has so much information and we really welcome back. Welcome back to Life Experiences with T.L. Jones. We are still talking to Mr. Victor Noonoo. Should I say a historian?
No.
Because he has so much information and we really thoroughly enjoying ourselves.
Noonoo, an ordinary man.
He likes to be called Noonoo, an ordinary man, but
Yes.
I have so much titles for him, and that includes a historian because I'm learning so much about Ghana today. So Mr. Noonoo, you've told us about your education, your experiences in secondary that led you to actually see Sajifo for the first time. And then after your secondary education, you got a job with the National Broadcasting Corporation, GBC. But instead of being a radio news reader or something, you were asked to go into the admin. How did that make you feel? And what encouraged you to remain there until getting what you really wanted to do?
Yeah, the mere fact that I was in broadcasting.
I like that.
And seeing people like John Hammond,
Okay.
Kwame Amumu, Ashikote, all the veteran news.
Right,
leaders,
okay.
I've seen my heroes.
Aww.
But the job I was doing itself, I was so bored to tears.
Wow.
Within a month, I was transferred to secondary.
Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
I was transferred to secondary
Right.
admin.
Okay.
My LPC, last pay certificate or voucher, didn't come.
Oh.
So at the end of the month that I went to secondary, I
No
had
pay.
no pay. So I decided to go to Accra to collect my pay.
Right.
When I got there, I said, I'm not going back to secondary.
You're staying in Accra.
I'm staying in Accra. So at Accra, there was no job for me.
Oh.
So one afternoon, I went to Broadcasting House and I saw one of my colleagues
Okay.
in the in the admin section.
Right.
A lady who liked me very much as a younger brother.
Okay.
Nothing more. And he said, "Hey, Kweku, we sent you to secondary and you ran away and nobody knows where you are." I said, yeah, well, I didn't like the job. You know that I always wanted to be a broadcaster.
Yes.
Just that minute, the head of programs was walking by.
Wow, is that divine intervention or what?
His name was Mr. Gatti,
Okay.
Joe Gatti. So this lady, Abba Damwa, said, Mr. Gatti,
Okay.
look at Kweku Noonoo here. He was sent to secondary, he disappeared because he wanted to be a broadcaster. I said, oh, is that so? Come on, follow me.
Oh, wow.
So, Mr. Gatti managed to get all the senior programs men
Right.
to his office and I was interviewed.
Okay.
I was interviewed and during the interview, I was able to put in something which impressed him a lot. Because when I was in Apam Secondary School, I produced a play there called GYE NYAME.
Oh, wow.
And it was written by Mr. Gatti.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was written by Mr. Gatti. So, Mr. Gatti, while we were interviewing, I said, I produced one of your plays in Apam. And he said, did you charge money for it? I said, yes, but for school projects.
Oh.
And the other men around were saying, oh, but you can't actually ask him to refund the money.
Or some royalties.
You can't ask for your royalties here. So he became interested.
Okay.
And then after the interview, he said, follow me with 2 other men.
Okay.
And we went to the studio.
Right.
And they gave me a news broadcast to translate and read.
So the news broadcast was in English and you had to
Yes,
translate it into Fanti or...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We had a Ghana languages section.
Okay.
We began with Hausa, Dagbani, Nzima, and all that. Yes. And Akan, we came last.
Okay.
In the morning it may be Fanti reading the news. In the afternoon it may be Chi.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So they gave me this news broadcast. I translated it. They said read it. I read it. Okay, come here. And then I went to the control room where they were all sitting. And he said, okay, you start work tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
At the account section.
How did that make you feel?
I don't know how I felt.
Wow.
It was so incredible that the next day was 6th of March.
Wow.
That I knew that it was a holiday. I still reported for work.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I still reported for work.
Wow.
And when I went, all the offices were closed. So
national holiday.
Yeah, because the programs coming out were all recorded.
Right. Right.
So I spent a lot of time in the canteen.
Okay, watching whatever was happening, I'm guessing, because the national holiday there was usually
there was nothing
ceremony
to watch.
Okay.
We didn't have television at the time.
Oh, look at me thinking about television and radio already.
No,
there was no television, just the radio. Okay.
So when I was very tired, I got up and went home.
Okay.
Could you believe I lived in Nkrumah?
Okay.
I walked from Broadcasting House all the way to Nkrumah. At that time, it wasn't such a big deal.
Really?
You know,
wow.
Today, people in Accra, they can't go.
No, you have to take a taxi or trotro from Broadcasting to Osudan Circle.
Yes.
You know, things that would have been easily, you know, just a few minutes walk, but yeah. Wow, interesting.
So the next day, the next morning, I'd gone, that was the 7th, I'd gone to Broadcasting House. I was crossing down the lawn there, and then I saw, hey, Noonoo, what are you doing here? That was Mr. Gati Tego, who had taught me in Apam Secondary School.
Oh, wow.
The very year that I left, he had also left Apam as a tutor to become a newsreader in...
That's interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
In Radio Ghana.
Okay. Was that the only radio station in Ghana at the time?
It was the only one.
Okay.
We didn't even have the FM studios and all that.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
It was the only one.
So how long were you a newsreader for?
About 3 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so from 61 right up to 64 when I left.
Why did you leave such a dream job of yours?
Yes. Television was coming.
Okay.
And a colleague of mine had been drafted, called the late Kobnet Taylor.
Okay.
And the soul rest in peace. Comrade Taylor had become my big brother in broadcasting house. Right. And he said, look, we've been drafted to television. Okay. So they're going to train us in Canada. Oh, wow. So I suggest that if you really want to go higher or somewhere, try and go abroad to learn about television. Right, right. And come home. Okay. And you see, it didn't even say, and stay there. It said come home. Yes. In those days, you came to study or acquire something. And as soon as you finished, you went back. There was job. Wow. They're waiting for you. Okay. You know. Right. So we spoke about that, and then later on, I made an application. Okay. You see, Nkrumah had gotten about 5,000 scholarships. Oh, wow. Because we had only one university. That's right, yes. Kumasi was just about starting. Okay. You know. So the competition was so fierce, and with my grades, as I told you, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have got a chance. Right. You know. So what happened was I decided to apply for a scholarship. Right. And most of the scholarships were for the Eastern countries, Eastern Europe. To get the Western scholarship was a battle. Okay. Yeah. But the Eastern, the Russian scholarships, plenty of it. Oh, right. So I wonder why. How did that come about? Well, this is a story I have. Because I've always been very interested in getting to know more about how a lot of Ghanaian doctors, teachers, professionals came to the Soviet Union. The Cold War was at its height. Okay. At the time. Right. And to tell you an amazing thing, only about 1966, America practiced a sort of apartheid. Right. You know, the blacks didn't have it easy. Okay, okay. And when you think of Martin Luther King and the rest, you know, fighting for the civil rights. That's right, movement, you know. And it may make you wonder how all these things started. Yes. But nobody gives an African a credit. That's true. Because when Nkrumah was making our independence, that speech, that big speech, Martin Luther King was there. Yes. Martin Luther King was there. And all these people looked at Nkrumah as a sort of a messiah. Ghana was a mecca. There's been a lot of documentaries around that actually, yes. You know. So Nkrumah told them to go and fight. Right. You know. What he said to them was that the fight is not actually about a black and a white. It's about the oppressed and the oppressor. Powerful. That is what changed a lot of die-hard Americans who wanted, you know, who wanted to equal rights, if one would say. That's right. That's right. Stokely Carmichael and the rest of them. In fact, Stokely Carmichael even followed Nkrumah to Guinea when he was in exile. Right, right. You know. Wow. So all these people coming to Ghana and experiencing what was happening in Accra, in Ghana. You know, Nkrumah was having conference after conference of unity, African unity. The first one he had was Conference of Independent African States.
Okay.
There were about 6 or 7. Liberia, Egypt, Libya, Sudan, Ethiopia, Ghana, Morocco. You know, if I missed one out of it, you know, all these gathered in Accra to listen to Kwame Nkrumah telling them the next step ahead.
Wow.
And then later on, he organized the conference of the freedom fighters. You see, that one, it wasn't about someone, a country's got independence. No, these were the people who were fighting to become independent.
Right.
You see.
So some of these countries, could you give us names?
Most of them, most of the African states.
Tanzania, Zimbabwe.
Tanzania was Tanganyika and Zanzibar. When they united, they became Tanzania. We had Malawi, which was Nyasaland.
Okay.
You see, we had Northern Rhodesia, which is now, what's it say?
Rhodesia, Zimbabwe.
No, Zambia.
Northern Rhodesia, Zambia. Yeah.
And then the South, Southern Rhodesia
became Zimbabwe.
Right. You know. So there were so many of these countries. And what Nkrumah did was, he invited every political party in a particular country.
Right.
If Ghana had 6 political parties, he invited them all to send people down.
Okay.
And what he was telling them was, you have a common enemy. If you can unite and fight the common enemy.
Okay.
So all these, this is what made Accra a mecca.
Yes, it must have been very vibrant at the time.
Very vibrant.
A lot of things were going on in Accra.
Very vibrant.
Wow.
And if you were a Ghanaian, you didn't think about anything but the progress of the country.
Yes.
You know, we were all patriotic.
Wow.
We were all.
Right.
And it's also the way Nkrumah organized things. If Kwame Nkrumah took education, he would develop it to its highest as a component of the nation building.
Yes.
So even with sports, we had a team called Royal Republicans.
Okay.
They were all the good players from other teams in Ghana gathered together to form the Royal Republicans, playing in the National League.
Right.
You see, so even that, he developed it so high.
He was a great visionary, wasn't he?
Oh yes, yes.
Wow. And then you got your scholarship?
I got my scholarship.
Wow.
Left Accra, incidentally, on the 20th of September, 1964.
Wow.
The next day was going to be Kwame Nkrumah's birthday.
Wow.
You see. And incidentally again, going to, we flew overnight. So the next day, we found ourselves in Kyiv,
Okay. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
the Russians
Ukraine,
call it,
yeah.
they call it Kiev. But when you come to the west, it's Kiev.
Kiev, yeah.
Yeah. So, because of weather,
You are watching Life Experiences with T.L. Jones. We still have Mr. Victor Noonoo with us, telling us about all the stories, interesting stories about Ghana, well, the Gold Coast, now Ghana,
it was there.
and how he got the scholarship, the accreditation to Osaje for Dr. Nkrumah, who really wanted to develop Ghana. Not just put factories or buildings, but wanted to really develop the individual Ghanaians so that they can self-govern as GYE now. That was what it was about. Mr. Noonoo was one of those that really became a benefactor of the scholarship that ended him in the Soviet Union. The land of ice. That's how I see it. It's too cold, Mr. Noonoo. How did you survive?
Human beings have the nature of adapting to things.
Back in the days as well, there was no central heating.
No, over there was.
They had central heating in the 60s.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
In Russia at the time, what marveled us was that it would be snowing like that, the snow would come up, but the streets where
The cars were,
were and the rails that carried
all
the
cleaned up.
it's all cleaned up.
Wow.
As they're going,
And
there
this was in the
cleaning-
60s.
Yes, there was a cleaning thing behind them.
Oh right.
Cleaning,
Okay.
So they were. It was their
Developed,
life.
Yes, yeah.
It was their life. You see, Ghanaians at that time didn't have any respect for Russian education.
Okay.
I know that a lot of our doctors who came here, who came to Ghana, got stranded.
Oh really?
Yes.
From Russia to Ghana?
Yeah, because after the coup, nobody wanted anyone who
my
had studied in
goodness.
Russia. They said Russian education wasn't good. And yet they were the first to go to space. They went to, the Russians went into space 1958 when I was a student in St. John's.
Right. Do you think it was all political?
Well,
Because after the coup, obviously, it was a different party. It was a previous
Yes,
party
yes.
that had managed to get all the scholarships. And
that's
things,
right,
yeah.
that's right, that's right. Yeah. It was-
Wow.
Oh, that is why a lot of Ghanaian doctors stayed in England
Okay.
and worked in England.
Right.
I mean, if
right.
England could accept
A Russian-educated doctor.
Yes.
That was why I thought it must be political. Otherwise, why would that happen? Yeah. Well, England benefited from that, and we do
Yes,
have a
yes.
number of Ghanaian doctors still in England, and in Milton Keynes we have a number of Ghanaian doctors,
Yeah.
and there's a very massive Ghanaian Doctors Association, and sometimes they do hold their conferences here in Milton Keynes, so we're very privileged to have that. So how many years were you in Russia?
2.
2 years. And what did you study?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
The interesting thing with these scholarships, when we were in school, upon secondary school, your last year, on the notice board, it's there. They've printed it, those who want to go abroad can apply for Russian scholarships, to Moscow, or if you want to go to Poland, yes, So it was there. Those who wanted to do farming, it's there for them. You do a course, and after the course, you're given a car, and you have with the spraying of cocoa and all that.
Wow.
And I think when we were talking, we got missed out on something. You see, going to Russia at that time, was because there were not many universities in Ghana.
Right.
And Nkrumah wanted to develop the country so quickly
Yes.
that he wanted people to be educated, to be able to serve these the industries and all the things that he was building. So that is what prompted him
to get the scholarship.
But people say, you asked me how it came about, and we got lost.
Yes, we digressed a bit.
The reason was, that's what the American civil rights thing came in. The Nkrumah government, I hear, had gone to the United Nations. Nkrumah went to the United Nations. And Khrushchev, who was the Russian leader at the time, had accused Russia. No, the Khrushchev had accused Americans of practicing racism. So the Americans had told him, you haven't got them there, that's why you can't talk.
Right.
So the guy gave Ghana 5,000 scholarships.
Evidence that they can look after the blacks.
That's right. And I don't know if the story is true, but this was the explanation given. So because of that, we all went. But before you went to any country in those days, you had to attend Kwame Nkrumah Institute of Ideological Studies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Right, and what do you learn there?
They opened your eyes.
As
a matter of fact, if you went to that school, within 2 weeks, it was like cotton wool was on your eyes, and someone had taken it.
Wow.
They told you that, well, if you go to Britain, you want to do any shopping, fly the Oxford Street. Don't even branch on your left or right to go to Bond Street because the things there you can't afford.
Right.
You see. And if you happen to go to a place like Liverpool Street in London, be careful. You can buy a television, and when you come home, you would see that it's a ton of brick in it, and nothing else.
Right.
It has happened to me. Yes.
Wow.
It happened to, in spite of all the advice.
All the advice.
I bought a dodgy
television in Liverpool Street. My goodness.
You know, no, it was video.
Oh, video
VCR.
VCR.
VCR. When I got home, I didn't tell anyone. My wife didn't know till recently.
Oh my goodness.
I was telling the children all these experiences.
Wow.
And they said, oh, Kweku, so they did it to me.
So in Ghana, in Accra, there are similar tricks like that, isn't it? In Accra Circle, apparently. If you buy a mobile phone there at night, you go home and open the box and it's something else.
And this is what Ideological Institute did for us, because there was a time we heard there was beer shortage. Beer shortage.
In where?
In Ghana.
In Ghana,
Nkrumah style.
Right.
And it was Ideological Institute. We learned that people who wanted to sabotage Nkrumah actually bought the empty bottles and dumped them in the sea.
Oh my goodness.
So there was a time the beer was there, but you couldn't bottle it.
Oh wow. Was that why Bubra came about then?
No, Bubra came recently.
Years later.
You see. And not only that, the only company that was importing matches to Ghana was United Africa.
Okay.
And they had a matchbox, 3 ports that they sent Ibasa.
Oh.
Yeah. And when Kade Match Factory started, apparently they used to buy them in bulk.
Right.
And dump them in a very, very wet place, you know.
Oh, right.
Damp, very damp place.
And then,
So if you went out to buy Ghana matches, you would strike about 20.
it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work, and everybody started complaining Ghana matches.
No.
is
Oh,
no.
that's so fair.
So there was quite a lot of things that happened. But at the Ideological Institute, you were also warned about having a European partner. Oh,
Okay. Marry your own.
No, they gave you a reason.
Okay. But hold on. Wasn't Nkrumah never married a Ghanaian?
Yes.
He married out of Ghana. So why were you told to?
It was dynasty.
Okay.
You know, it was the African unity.
Right.
The Arabs were not looking beyond the Arab world.
Got you. Okay.
And we had Morocco, Libya,
That's right. Egypt.
Sudan, Tunisia, you know,
Algeria. Those North African countries.
Algeria wasn't independent then.
Okay.
Algeria had to fight with the help of Nkrumah
Wow.
to become free.
Amazing.
You see, but all these 5, they are the Middle East conferences and all that. So Nkrumah became very friendly with Colonel Nasser, who was the big man in the Arab world at the time, and was able to persuade Egypt to join the unity thing, the African unity idea. So when Nkrumah wanted to marry, he got married from Egypt, so that he has a foot in the Arab world.
Interesting.
You see.
Right.
So,
so what was the reason that you were giving in the Nkrumah Ideology Institute about being wary of the European?
Oh, they said, let's say you come from Brown and you're going to you've gone to Russia and you've got a Russian wife. Think of what toilet she's going to use.
Oh my goodness. Build a WC.
You see, at that time, we didn't have WCs. You know, we had some in, we had some in the offices and all that, you know. But said, your wife comes home and says, can I go to the ladies? Where are you going to show her?
Right.
So be careful. They didn't say don't marry them or anything. But we were given useful,
practical
reasons
why that could be a problem.
And we saw that it was useful because a lot of the women from the East wanted just to get out of the country at the time. So they would marry even me to get out.
Wow.
You know.
Was that the only way they were allowed to leave the country then, to be married to somebody?
Yeah, if you're married to somebody.
They couldn't travel out of the country by themselves?
No, they couldn't.
Right. One of my great uncles actually married a lady from Czechoslovakia. Yes, and she still lives in Ghana.
Oh yes, my best friend, my leader in the Nkrumahist business, they married a Russian and they're still together. You know, he's older than me. In fact, Nkrumah left the party to us in 66.
Wow.
So we were fighting.
Was that when you had left Russia to come to
Yes.
the UK? Right.
We were fighting to get him
Back to Ghana.
Oh. You see. And there were so many of us. As soon as he died, there was only a few of us left. Today, only 3 of us are left.
Really? Oh my goodness.
And we found ourselves in the middle of the night because I can't sleep. You see, and I'm the youngest.
Wow.
At 81.
Amazing.
You see.
Wow.
So a lot of students went to Hungary, Poland,
Ghana still have ties with some of these Eastern European countries in terms of education. With the recent issue with Ukraine and Russia, we have seen some of the students being stranded.
In fact, a lot of our Ghanaian doctors were trained in Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were trained in Ukraine. I remember that Easter Day, 1965,
Okay.
I went to a conference in Kiev
Okay.
for the CPP
Right.
conference.
So were you a member of the CPP before you left Ghana, or you became a member when you came to
I wasn't a member of the
Okay.
CPP,
Right.
but this will take me back again.
That's okay.
I remember that at the age of about 12, I was sitting at Jendu Park.
Okay.
Nkrumah was there.
Wow.
The platform was over there.
Okay.
And I'm sitting down here.
Wow.
And I'm looking directly into Nkrumah's eye.
Wow.
And when I grew up, I was talking about this and I said, what was he thinking? This little boy sitting on the grass. I was sitting there and staring. What does he understand? What is he doing here? But you see, I've been sold on Nkrumah. You know. So these are some of the little experiences that happened to me. Incidentally, my first job, Radio Ghana, was to travel with him to Mankasim.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, they were opening the Mankasim market.
Right.
And yeah, and I was in the motorcade covering it for Radio Ghana.
Wow, amazing.
You know.
Did you ever have the chance to interview Kwame?
No.
Okay.
I was so raw, so inexperienced.
Okay.
And in those days, they called us program assistants. We were programs men. All we did was program, and we had newsroom, which did all the interviews.
Right.
And then wrote the news, and we read them.
Right.
You see. So to actually come closer, no.
Okay.
But Mr. Bochu became my uncle, and I was with him for a long time, advising. I would bring information from London.
Oh, wow.
I would stay in Ghana for some time, you know, so, I mean, I was more or less living in his house.
Is that the one, the big one in a palm?
No. The Apam one, the house in Apam. I used to spend my weekends there.
I used to spend some time there as well because I was in school with one of his granddaughters. We are still in touch actually.
Which one?
Ruth.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Lovely family. Yeah. Wow.
So it was exciting times.
Wow.
You know. A lot of his friends were left when Nkrumah went, they were still in Accra, and whenever I went to Ghana, I could go to them and have conversation. At this time, I was so embedded in the Nkrumahist thing.
Okay.
So Ghana has changed.
So before we come to Ghana now, I just wanted a bit more information around when Osagyefo was overthrown.
Yes.
You were in the UK at the time.
That's right.
So how did you become so active in trying to get him back to Ghana?
Yes. I was living in Nottingham.
Okay.
At that time, I had just come from Russia. That is why I didn't return
To Russia or to Ghana?
to Russia.
Okay, okay.
And then one morning, we woke up and there had been a coup. Incidentally, the night before, it was on the news that Dr. Nkrumah was going to Hanoi to bring peace to the Vietnam War. And involuntarily I said, he won't come back.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, why would you say that?
I don't know.
Wow. Was there a lot of tension in Ghana at the time, you reckon?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was in Ghana when the bomb throwings were going on. I was right in the thick of it because as a radio man, even though we were not reporters, we had programs like Akamfu Chapen and others that you could go and record material and do some documentary. So I knew there were dangers, for him going and not coming.
Because one could say if there was all this tension in Ghana at the time, why would Osagyefo want to go to sort out an issue about Vietnam? No disrespect to Vietnam, but this is the man who had taken the mantle on himself to be, for want of a better word, the Black Star of Africa.
He did not.
We shall be back shortly. Thank you.